answers, lots of variety. And let's practice a few more. It's Monday, so you might not have been thinking about any math questions just yet. You see the day one section of that paper, of this right here. Not saying we're going to use them every day, but we'll just be consecutive. Day one, it might be 3 days from now, you'll go to day two. And just in the order of that we do them, you've got day one. Now you put today's date on there, and you can always find the date from the whiteboard over here. And speaking of the whiteboard, each Monday is going to tell you what the week looks like. And so today we're going to identify some words that are called domain and range and functions. And then we're going to practice those same words tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. Only we'll do something called function notation. And then Friday's showtime, you see. See what it says for Friday. That will be showtime to see how we're doing on things.
So just like every other week that we usually do?
Not necessarily. Not on purpose. You know, it might.
Yeah.
I mean, like a quiz every other week kind of. If it lands like that, okay. Just when there's natural breaks. We won't wait for a long time where you got this much stuff. Just natural breaks in it. Okay, so on here, we're going to turn the overhead on. What'd you practice with those four? Well, we're taking a look at your homework. Let's let you just practice those 4 questions a little bit. Good chance for you to make sure that you can see, you know, on days that we're using something like the overhead projector or the other projector, make sure that you're really being able to see.
Overthinker, right? Sorry?
And that's right. Sometimes you work just a little bit, you know. Sometimes, you know, this is better, and sometimes this is better. You're in your own style, whatever's going to work. I don't know. I can show you mine. I'll show you. I don't necessarily put it on a paper. Mine is a little bit like this. You know, just keep track of it as you go. Just keep track of it.
I have to check.
That's right, yes. Probably had it going both, but if you had something like this is what you're thinking, 3 squares. But the
And if you have a calculator, you probably want to get it out. You don't have one? Anyone else? Matt? How about Logic Farm? Or at least get on Amazon and order one.
You know, just like, what you want to do, I mean, like, you're paying symbols, it's just, well, there's
You don't have one? Huh? We might need it.
Am I good with it?
Yeah. You can get a color one.
I have one, and it's still what she won out for. I'm not sure how
Yeah, the homework I got stuck on number 6 on A. I wasn't really sure what to do when you have the...
Did you know that there's also a backside?
You don't have to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I didn't know that.
You know what?
I did.
Did what?
I didn't even know there was a back.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You're supposed to do this.
You're not supposed to do the front?
You're supposed to do this. But you don't do this.
Oh, okay.
But you do this for left and right.
I could have sworn I said not to do the back.
Not to do the bottom. You do this part.
Oh. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight and show it to her tomorrow to get half credit. Because half credit's better than no credit, to be honest.
Alright, who am I missing here? Help me find, let's see, Alexis Albergo? Oh, this whole row then, that's where you all are. There's the people I hadn't looked at yet. Yeah, it might not be. They're a little bit, see if you'll write out some of your steps. You know, like let's maybe circle what you're going to do first and keep track of your steps as you go. And you'll get there, you'll find some of that. So, here's Alexis. Gotcha.
I
And,
got stuck on this too.
yeah, it's kind of the same comment there. You know, don't try to keep track of all that in your head. It is too hard to type it all on a calculator. There's too many symbols and divides, and without all the parentheses to do the order of operations. Alright, who we got here? You, what is your name? Shane Barker, right? Barker, we'll go 5 out of 10. So, let's give us a little bit more effort.
I got stuck.
Well, we'll fix it. Look at that work. That just looks awesome.
Yeah, I put on a simple piece of paper because I
have
keep track of it better.
I know, me too. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'm the type of person, if I
Okay,
skip a
work's
question,
done.
like after having a pattern, like in a like in order, if I skip to another number, I just don't like that.
Well, you can always come back to it, like if you need to write out like this, you know, then just leave the space for it so that you don't think you're skipping it. And then
Yeah, I
worry
didn't-
about doing this part right here.
Yeah, I didn't know we were supposed to do that. I thought you said not to do that first.
Not the number 2. Who was
Yeah.
I talking to? I was talking to Tristan. Thank you. And I'm going to, forgot that little part. Then we've got to just finish up that, so I forgot to write you a pass. I told you I'd forget. Yeah, I'll write you a pass. Dylan McCabe. That's why I missed it.
I can do
then.
most of these, just once you get to those parts, the blocks instead of the parentheses, I get stuck.
You get stuck here?
Yeah.
What did you do first?
Well, I didn't know what to do.
Okay, gang.
You do the print. You
Let's-
do the part first.
The parentheses?
You do
Help
the
me.
part first.
Right here. Let's look up here so we can get this turned off, because it gets loud and it gets warm, and the people up front don't like to see it. What should we do first out of this entire question? Simplify the division, within this is divide, and which part of that when you say simplify? The 5 minus 2, yep. So, here's a 3. Now what are we going to do next? That's the divide, so we've got 8 plus 3 divided by 3, which is just 1, we got 9.
Let's try that.
Okay, where you are? There you are.
You want them to write that in that piece of paper they just got?
Yes, and this should be in that top section where it says day 1. That's where you wrote these problems and you're practicing. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Pat yourself on the back if you got an answer 9. Nice job, self. Pat yourself on the back. You get that? Pat yourself on the back. Say nice job, self. Okay, how about number 2? Whoa, look at that. You know, sometimes other things look like those grouping symbols instead of just calling them as parentheses. You know, do you kind of see something that might look like a grouping symbol? What am I talking about?
Square root.
That square root. And you know, hear what you're saying. Square roots. Roots are also called, when we get farther in here, exponents. Roots are exponents that are fractions. That sounds kind of nasty, doesn't it? But that's okay. It's a grouping symbol, or we can think of this as an exponent. What is 25 minus 9?
16.
Alright, so we've really got 17 minus 7 times the square root of 16. We can do that. We don't need those calculators. We're going to sell them one of these days. What's the square root of 16?
4.
4. So we've really got 16 minus 7 times a regular 4.
It's 9.
Oh, no. Remember, do your multiplies first. So 7 times 4? 28. 16 minus 28
12.
is negative 12. But look how easy. Didn't you want to do 16 minus 7? I mean, that just seemed like that was what you should have been doing. You kind of got to catch yourself. That's why I found, honestly, I do this on my papers. I'll circle what I should be doing next. It keeps me focused on what to do that. How many of you really got negative 12? Okay, see, you can do it. Good. Okie doke, number 3. See that grouping symbol staring at you? See, you can do all that mental math, it's okay. You know, this is a really hard question to type into a calculator because of order of operations and the way it's gonna do its order of operations. Those of you that typed all that into a calculator, I'll bet you got a wrong answer instead of a right one. Because of the keystrokes. If you typed into your calculator, look what you see. By the way, do you see this as a subtract as intended to be?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're in the back, you might have thought that was multiply. But if you typed in 5 minus 3 plus 8 divided by 8, you're going to get a wrong answer if you're using your calculator.
It's supposed to be a 5.
What's that? Did we type something? Did I write something wrong? Oh, that's a 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a 5. Then certainly you would have got a wrong answer if you typed that in. But if you type that in, what you see, think of that calculator, it's always right, it tells me everything. No. You are smarter than the calculator. Look at all of this. Mental math. What does all of this total up to be that I just circled? Do you see a 1?
Yeah.
Do you see it? 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 over 8?
It's 1.
That's 1. So really this problem is as difficult as 5 minus 1 is 4. I don't know what you get if you try a calculator typing that in without all the parentheses, but look how fast that was. By the time you type all the parentheses, telling your calculator what to do first, you could have 3 more problems done. Mental math. Okay, one more, right? After 4? Okay. Same thing with this. If you try typing this in on a calculator, you can get it right, but your neighbors have all done way ahead of you if they did mental math. Because, what's 0 divided by 7? 0. What's the square root of 4? And 0 plus 2 is 2. Mental math. Okay, let's do this next. Off your homework paper, since I just got all the order of operation questions. Let's start here for just a minute. And then have you do a nice job of asking ones that we should go through slowly. Plus you can see a little bit of what work looks like. You know, you don't have to take a lot of paper and show a lot of work, but you see little pieces put together. Oh, I thought it was the rug. I was gonna say, put the rug down for cords and do more harm than good. Here, get up in front of me for a minute. Let me show you something.
So we'll take this first, and I'll
Put it in right here, like that. This is so many papers. Okay, so much paper. What about the days?
I don't know everything to go to this before you join us.
These are papers that I use for your
Good.
Okay, thank you. The other,
That's just good. Good.
and then you can just help yourself, you don't have to ask for those. Then. Okay.
Get them all?
I'm supposed to copy it.
What's that?
I'm working on revamping.
Jacob, sorry.
Right here.
Jacob Newland. This is just for later. Okay, so that may or may not have been helpful to you. Some of you had asked Mr. Stoddard or I about working some or places that you know that just you didn't make it the whole way. Somebody pick one. 6A. And the thing about these, you know, honestly, once you get the hang of it, get a few of the bugs worked out, you can do anything with them. 6A, make sure I copy it down right. 30 minus, we got a bracket, 9 plus 4 times 8 minus 5, parentheses, and a bracket. What should we do first? The 8 minus 5. Alright, so the 8 minus 5, there's the 3. That 4 is right next to it. And then there's a plus and a 9, and we've got all that in these brackets. Let's finish up the bracket. That's right, the 4 times 3 is a 12, and so you've got a 9 plus 12. Let's go ahead and finish it up. The 9 plus 12? 21. 21, yep. And then way out front, we're at a 30 minus 21 as a 9. That's what we should end up with.
So these brackets really don't mean anything?
No, they're just like another set of parentheses. It's just to help you, so that this isn't the same shape as here. It's to help you realize that these go together, and then you just keep working inside. You know, start with the inside matching set of brackets, and then just keep expanding out. Let's do one more. Somebody find another one out here. 7B. 7B. 7B looks like a 3 square bracket, 20 minus 4, parentheses, 2 plus 1, parentheses, and a bracket. What do we do first? How about this side of the room? What are we going to do first? 2 plus 1, that's 83. And it's next to a 4, which is next to a 20 minus. It is so tempting to do 20 minus 4. That's tempting. Don't let yourself do it. 4 times 3. Now you can subtract with your 20 minus 12 is 8. And there's a 3 on the outside of that bracket. 3 times 8 is 24. We'll keep working through a little bit of those. You can send that to the inside, that paper, the one that had the answers on it, but you send those to the center. Flip your paper over to the reverse, the other side, that had those circles and the circles and the circles. Trade your paper with somebody next to you. You gotta trade 3 ways, then trade 3 times. Just so you're looking at somebody else's paper, just not your own. And those should be examples. So take a look, and if you don't agree with something, have a little discussion with whoever gave you that paper.
I think your answers are perfect.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that either. Let's put some in. We got one. Is this you?
I don't think anyone in their table did it back.
Oh, what do you think about these?
I don't think anyone in their table did
Do
it
there?
back.
If there's anything in it,
I think we all
for the
copied.
rational, that's right, to see.
I have geometry after this.
There are people that opened up their interactive notebook to the charts that we made on Friday, and they are using their notes. Can you believe such a thing? Using their notes to check the other person's examples. What about that? Crazy idea, isn't it?
It's pretty insane.
If somebody only put examples in the natural numbers circle, zoom in there, bullseye into just the natural numbers circle. If somebody would have only, that's the only thing they filled in, would they have examples of whole numbers listed?
Yeah.
If all they had, like I'm looking at this paper right here, for any natural numbers, they have a 1, a 5, and a 16. If that's all they put on the entire sheet, do they have 3 examples of whole numbers? Yeah, because whole numbers are the natural numbers with 0 added in. If all they had on their sheet was the 1, 5, 16 filled in natural numbers, would they have 3 examples of integers? Are 1, 5, and 16 integers? They sure are. If they still didn't fill anything in, are 1, 5, 16 examples of rational numbers? Yeah, they are. Are 1, 5, and 16 examples of real numbers? Yeah. So, you really were supposed to put some other examples in there, but I was just saying, if you're looking for the laziest way to go, to have 3 examples of each, boy, that sure would have been a fast way. Now, those irrationals up there, what has to happen with those irrationals? They can never end, they can't repeat, you can't identify any pattern whatsoever. Okay, let's move on to our 3 new words of the day. Domain, range, and function. We're going to write some things down tomorrow, so you don't have to write anything down. I just want you to listen to a big, fancy definition. Fancy. Now listen, this isn't too bad to work with. Domain. Tomorrow we'll do the writing. Set of values which are allowable substitutions for the independent variable. Jessica, could you paraphrase and say that back to me? What's that mean in your words? Right. Who would know that, right? Yeah. You reacted just the way that I was hoping that you would. Of that $5 I paid you to act like that was worth it. Yeah. What, that's just, you know, what does that mean? Here, I'll even read it again. Set of values which are allowable substitutions for the independent variable. Here, try this then. Try it this way. Unless you're taking notes, writing down these vocabulary words, you gotta put that where I can't see it. Okay, let's say, this isn't true, but tonight after school are tryouts for the Marysville High School girls basketball team. Girls, the Marysville High School basketball team. Who's allowed to show up and is eligible for this tryout?
High school girls.
Which high school girls?
Marysville.
Marysville High School girls. Okay, I probably can't show up. Mr. Stoddard, don't try it. Don't try that. Hunter, don't think so. Okay, but do you see they're eligible, allowable, eligible to show up for that. So now how in the world does that pertain to a math word of domain? What numbers are allowed to show up? For instance, here's the one that I think of all the time that people think of. How about this problem right here? 8 divided by x. Think of the x's. The x's are the people that are allowed to show up. Who's allowed to show up for x? Can anybody show up? No? Who can't? Who's not allowed to come to our meeting?
Boys.
For this one though, the 8 divided by x tryout. Who's allowed to show up for 8 divided by x? Can you have negative? Can you divide by a negative?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Divide by negative. Can you divide by fraction? You can divide by fraction. There's only one person that's not allowed to show up. 0.
Oh,
So that word domain means who is allowed to show up? Anybody but 0. That's who's allowed to show up. Okay? Got it? Right. How about this one? The square root of x. Who's allowed to show up? It's going to take the square root. And these, we're practicing this word domain. Decimals? Can you take the square root of a decimal?
I mean, you could.
You can. Sometimes you get messy answers, but you can. Can you do the square root of a fraction? Yeah, you can. Can you do that? How about 0? Yeah, you can. Because it's that square root is saying what times itself would equal 0. Like it's got a match. Here's what this is asking. If I'm trying to do this problem, it's saying what number times itself equals 0. Is there, yeah, 0 times 0. So you're allowed to multiply by 0. Is there anybody that's not allowed to show up? Jessica? Negative. You can't take the square root of a negative. You've had that happen before to you on your calculator. You got a little message actually called domain error on that. Syntax, that error message is a typing. You know, you forgot a symbol, forgot it to close a parenthesis. So that's that word domain. Okay, there are other word on our list over there, range. Here's the fancy smancy definition. Set of values if the dependent variable, set of values of the dependent variable that can result from the substitutions for the independent value. Gotta love definitions out of the back of the math book, don't you? Okay. Range would be, remember our girls basketball tryouts? Range are the people that made the team. That's your result. When we're done having our tryout, who made the team? Who finished? Okay, so those are your answers. Those are your answers. And we've got lots of charts and things we'll make for this tomorrow. And now let's do the third word, function. Function. In math world. Here it is. Here's the fancy one. Let's see if I can find function. You ready for this? Right. Take it. A correspondence or pairing between two variables such that each value of the first independent variable corresponds to exactly one value of the second dependent variable.
That was very complicated.
Okay, here's the way we're going to think about it for this. Okay, functions. We're going to think of you going to a function. Can all of you go to the same function, event, class, party, game, whatever, what I mean by function? Can all of you go to the same function at the same time? Can everybody in this room show up at 7 o'clock tonight for the spelling bee? Can all of you show up? Well, you can, alright? You're going to see in a minute with some pictures. That was okay. That makes a function. But how about this? Tonight at 7 o'clock, can you go to work and go to the spelling bee? It's both at 7 o'clock. No, that's not a function. So let's look at some math pictures up here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 behind the hidden door, number 6. Let's look at number 1. 1. Where do you see 1 going? Well, 1 is turned into a 5. 1's going to a 5. Is 1 going anywhere else at the same time?
No.
Okay. So it's doable. Is 2 going anywhere else at the same time?
No.
How about 3? 4? Or 5? That makes a function. Okay? More pictures to follow in a minute. Look at number 2. Look what number 1 is trying to do. Yeah, 1 cannot make it to 5, 6, and 7 all at the same time. That is not a function. Not a function. And look at 2. 2 is trying to be in 2 places at the same time. Let's move that to a picture a little bit. Here's an XY chart. See 0 is only trying to make it to 1 place. 2, only trying to make it to 1 place. 4, only 1 place. 6, only 1 place. Okay, we call that a function. Look over here. 0 is trying to head to negative 2. 0 is trying to head to negative 6. Can't do it. Not a function. Okay, let's look at number 5. Here's all these points. Look, these are ordered pairs, which make points. So here's ordered pairs that have been turned into points. Think about the x values of these points. Think about the x's. You know, which x's would be, here's the x for this, here's the x for this, here's the x for this, here's the x for this. See, if I drop those down, you'd be able to tell where x is in each case. Is the same x ever trying to go to 2 places?
No.
Function. But let's look at number 6. It's another set of points. It's all these points that make this. So let's maybe look at, just as your guess, what do you think the x value of this is?
4.
Okay, I'll make it be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe this is 4. How high do you think it is? 4. Okay. How about this one down here? If this is 0, it's right there. If it went over 4, what do you think the y value would be for that maybe?
6. 4, negative 4, negative 6.
Okay. But now you see 4 went to 4 and 4 went to negative 6. So guess what? Not a function. And we have some other things tomorrow, some special names for that kind of thing. Maybe some of you from Algebra 1 remember the vertical line test. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's okay. Tomorrow we'll draw those vertical lines in, and we'll get to that. Okay? So, 3 words. Domain. Say it back to me now in a way that you understand. What's domain? What's domain? Or you could either do it with a math example, or you could do it with our people example. Domain. Which part is the domain? Which part of that would we be talking about for the domain? The x, and what numbers are allowed to show up, right? And so everything but 0 would be in the domain. Or remember the Marysville High School girls basketball tryouts? Who's allowed to show up? Marysville High School girls. That's called the domain. Next word, range. As you'll see when we put some of this, these numbers showed up. These are our domain. These numbers were the result You'll see more tomorrow. It's the range. Don't really have any good pictures of that right now. We'll do that better tomorrow. Where was the range out of our girls' basketball tryout? What was the range out of that problem? The girls that made the team. The result, the output was the range. And function. How would you try to explain function to somebody? Function. How would you try to explain function to somebody? Hey, you two, function. Hey, explain function to somebody. Okay. Well, now you said you can't have two things going to the same function, can you? There you go. Say the end of it, where you get ready to say. Yeah, you can only be at one place at the same time. You can only be at one function at the same time. Sometimes you want to be someplace else other than here, sixth period, maybe. Where would you be? If it weren't here, where would you be?
Sleep ring.
It's where you always want to be. It's where you always want to be. Take the paper that has all the circles on it from yesterday, or today. Look at number 2 down at the bottom. That is your homework to finish number 2, parts A, B, C, D, E, and F. A, B, C, D, E, and F. You are to finish that. What numbers are allowed to show up for each of those?
Is everyone crystal clear on what we went over today?
Yeah.
Would you be able to explain it if I asked you right now? Hunter, yeah?
What? Yes, and remember how you do that? Here, come here, I'll show you. Come on. Well, not really use the bathroom. I'm not asking you to use the bathroom. I don't want to know that. But how you leave the room.
Order function?
I'm gonna rub my eyes.
You're going to go to 6th period.
That's not good.
What?
That's not good. Explain like what numbers are like be anything but a negative.
I don't think this is it. All my glasses.
Hey, you got about 5 minutes, so practice while you have help. Practice while you have help.
Let's just
Don't
get
put
it
yourself
done and
away
not
and
call
don't
it
get your phone
homework.
out.
Pull your paper out, let's just get it done and not call it homework.
If I only have my right eye open, I can barely read that right there. Oops, sorry.
That's not what that looks like. I know, there you crossed your U. Okay, I see it now, it's pretty to you. Right here, let's just do one. See if it's here you'll get to over here. You can see this blue up here.
You done?
How could, that's right. Just say it that way.
And the 0.
Zero works, you can just sort of 0 0.
Try. Working on it.
You remember our math teacher from 5th or 6th grade, I think it was, Miss Estes? You know she died. That's sad. She was nice, kind of. I mean, she yelled a lot, but she was nice.
Square root.
Oh, she's a new teacher.
Hmm?
She's a new teacher.
Can you
Yeah.
say 0? Cubit? Do you have calculator?
I forget what grade that was, though.
6.
See if you get any kind of an error message.
It was PQ.
0 to the 3rd power.
It was all this shit PQ.
That was the year I had Mr. Bonds. Actually, I called Mr. Balls once. I'm pretty sure everyone did at least once.
You should all be bringing a calculator. You're working on getting your graphing calculators, but you need a calculator. It's not the classroom set.